Dear students, very good morning. Hope you all are fine. Today we are continuing our offline class with human respiratory system, and today we are going to discuss about the main organs of respiratory system, that is the lungs. Lungs, also called as pulmones. A pair of lungs is present in humans. Lungs lie in an airtight chamber known as thoracic cavity or chest cavity. This cavity is formed dorsally by the vertebral column, ventrally by the sternum, laterally by the ribs. It is closed below by the diaphragm, which is a dome-shaped structure made up of muscles and separates thoracic cavity from abdominal cavity. Abdominal cavity is the cavity containing most of the digestive organs. Now, the membranes enclosing the lungs. Each lung is enclosed by two membranes known as pleura or pleural membranes. The outer pleural membrane is in close contact with the thoracic cavity, whereas inner pleural membrane is in close contact with lung surface. In between these two membranes, a narrow space is present known as pleural cavity. This pleural cavity is filled with a fluid secreted by the pleural membranes known as pleural fluid. Now, the functions of pleural fluid. Pleural fluid lubricates the pleural membranes so that they may slide over each other without friction during breathing. If fluid is not present, then there will be damage to the membranes, which finally affects the breathing. Internal structure of lungs. Lungs are pink at birth. They become dark gray and mottled in adults due to the deposition of carbonaceous materials. Darkening increases in smokers and persons exposed to pollutants. The right lung is shorter by about 2.5 centimeters due to raised position of diaphragm on the right side to accommodate liver. The left lung is longer. It is, however, narrower than the right lung because it contains a cardiac notch for accommodating a symmetrically placed heart. Left lung is divisible by an oblique fissure into two lobes, left superior and left inferior. Right lung has two fissures, horizontal and oblique. They divide the right lung into three lobes: right superior, right middle, and right inferior. The lobes are divided internally into segments and segments into lobules. There are 8 segments in the left lung and 10 segments in the right lung. On the average, an adult right lung weighs 625 grams, while the left lung weighs 565 grams. Internally, lungs are made up of branching network of bronchi, bronchioles, and alveoli. Network of bronchi include primary, secondary, and tertiary bronchi. Alveoli are the main sites where actual diffusion of gases, oxygen, and carbon dioxide takes place between blood and atmospheric air. Now, the flow chart showing structures involved in respiratory passage. Respiratory passage starts from the external nostrils that lead to nasal chamber. Then there are internal areas followed by nasopharynx. Then there is glottis, which is a part of larynx. After glottis, the onward transmission takes place through trachea. Then trachea. Afterwards, there are primary bronchi, then secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, and bronchioles. From external nostrils to bronchioles, this portion is called conducting part of respiratory system. I again repeat it. From external nostrils to bronchioles, they constitute the conducting part of the respiratory system. Then bronchioles, they lead to alveolar ducts into atria into alveolar sacs, then finally alveoli. From alveolar ducts to alveoli, this portion is called the exchange or respiratory part. So, in respiratory system, we are having two parts. One is conducting part, another is the exchange or the respiratory part. So, this was about the lungs and the flow chart showing structures involved in respiratory passage. Next will be in the next offline class, inshallah.